What comes first, the lead magnet or the digital course? The question of chicken or egg comes up in every possible scenario, including whether you should have a lead magnet before you have your digital course, or if you should just jump in with your digital course first and worry about the lead magnet later. Most marketers will tell you that you need to go ahead and create that lead magnet so that you can build your email list while you then turn around and build your course. This seems so logical, doesn't it? But after years of watching this advice play out in the digital space, I don't know that it serves digital entrepreneurs well. Would you rather have a lead magnet out there attracting an audience that isn't aligned with your core offer? Or would you rather have a lead magnet that creates a solid stepping stone to your paid offer? It creates a real dilemma with pros and cons on each side of the picture. But I'll tell you, if you decide to ultimately stick with the lead magnet first, you'll want to stick around to the end of this episode because I'm sharing ways to make that lead magnet more successful than it might be otherwise.
Anyone can add a digital course to their business. So what sets the six-figure course creators apart? You're about to find out. Welcome to the Digital Course Creator Podcast with Dr. Maura, a longtime entrepreneur now using her PhD in psychology to help you go from sticky notes to sales worth celebrating.
When we are working to build a digital business, one of the first things that we are told to do is build an email list. Every course that I've come across in the digital space tells us that we absolutely must be building an email list. We get lots of reasons why this is so critical, like we don't own our social media platforms, we can lose access to groups where we regularly find clients, and so on and so forth. We own our email list, which, by the way, feels just a little weird to me. Does that phrase feel weird to you too? Regardless, the point is clear. We need to build an email list, and the best way to do that is to create a lead magnet. I've helped clients create lead magnets. I've certainly created lead magnets of my own, and I've watched fellow digital entrepreneurs churn out lead magnet after lead magnet. This all sounds good, right? If we have a lead magnet, then we are building our email list, and that list will turn into course buyers. Except if simply having an email list was all that we needed to make our business a profitable success, then all entrepreneurs who tackle the hurdle of creating a lead magnet and getting to the point of selling some kind of product or service, well, they would be profitable. But that isn't the case at all, is it? In fact, I've seen so many online entrepreneurs build email lists full of non-buyers. Take a look at your own email list, if you have one. Are the majority of the people on your list buyers or non-buyers? Presuming, at least that you've made at least one offer. Chances are the majority are non-buyers, at which point you might think, but Dr. Maura, most people are going to be non-buyers, and that might be true. But do you want it to be that way? Would you rather have a smaller list and a higher percentage of buyers? I know I would. Let's look at some numbers, though. What if you had 10,000 people on your email list and 1% buy your course at $500? That's 100 sales at $500, which totals $50,000. That sounds pretty amazing, right? That would certainly be a great launch. But what if you had 500 people on your email list and a whopping 40% purchased because they were super aligned with your offer? That's 200 sales at $500, and that launch would total $100,000. You see where I'm going with this? Is it really the size of your list that matters, or is it less about those vanity metrics and more about the likelihood that they are going to purchase from you? If you are starting to think that maybe you'd rather have a highly engaged list of potential buyers than a list that is costing you a fortune to maintain because all of those email service providers charge you by the emails on your list, then listen up, because I'm about to share with you the number one reason our lists get filled with non-buyers and the simple fix for that problem. The biggest reason that our email lists fill with non-buyers is because we are not attracting the right people with our lead magnets. Remember how I told you that the very first piece of advice that most entrepreneurs get is that we should create a lead magnet, get it going, and then focus on the offer. When the lead magnet doesn't align with the offer, you are not going to be attracting the right people to your list. And that means that they are not going to buy when you make your offer. It's almost one of those duh moments. Why didn't I think of that? Instead of focusing first on the lead magnet, I always encourage my clients to start with determining what their course topic and primary objective will be for that course. From there, you can draft a quick outline of the key areas that you're going to address with the course. When you have a course objective, a topic, and a light outline in mind, then you can begin to work backward and create a lead magnet that is going to attract buyers for your course, not just add numbers to your email list. Because your audience is going to get something out of your lead magnet that will prepare them to take the next step with you at their side, they become so much more likely to not just be lurkers, but instead to be the people who raise their hand and say yes when you make your offer. It's just like the baby who rolls over, then they crawl, then they walk, then they run. They go through stages, right? We have to help our potential course students progress through different stages of readiness to be prepared and successful in our course. And no single approach works for every business or even for every offer. Just like not everyone has the same favorite dessert. We are all unique in what we need, what we like, and what we want. A PDF might work amazingly well for one business, and another business might be more likely to attract buyers with a private podcast. Neither is better than the other. They're just simply different because they lead to different offers. So we come back to the question of chicken or egg. Does the lead magnet or the course come first? And it's a little bit of both. You can definitely create your lead magnet before creating your entire course. In fact, I recommend it. But you shouldn't create your lead magnet without having a clear idea of what your offer is going to be. Even better than having your course idea and objective is to have that course outline prepared. Because with an outline, what happens is you can start looking at the key points that you'll be teaching and figure out where the gaps are that your potential students will need to fill before saying yes to your course. Think about it like filling the potholes in on the road. Is it strictly necessary for the potholes to be filled to drive on the road? No. But think about how bumpy that ride becomes. You might even get a flat tire from a particularly bad pothole, and that can stop your progress for some time. While you change the tire, you drive around on that tiny spare that we all know doesn't really work, and you get your main tire either patched or replaced. Your potential students can absolutely sign up for your course before they're ready, but it's going to look a lot like driving on a road full of potholes. It's going to be pretty bumpy. Think of driving on a road now where all of the potholes have been patched really well. There still might be some wobbly spots along the way because we are just patching potholes, but overall the ride is so much smoother, isn't it? This is what a lead magnet that is designed to fill the gaps on the way to the offer will do for your potential students. It will clear the way, it will simplify the journey, it will be a little bit smoother. What sounds better? Which option sounds like you would have more people saying yes to your offer? Now I realize that you might not be convinced that you need to do a little bit of course work before the lead magnet, or maybe you just really want to move quickly to start a lead magnet because you need to build that email list. If that is the case, be sure to stick around to our 60-second solution today because I'm going to be covering how to create a lead magnet even if you don't have your course built or outlined. Now, if you are ready to flip the script a little bit and first work on your course so that you can move more quickly through the lead generation process, then I'd like to invite you to take action right now. When this episode ends, pull out a sheet of paper and answer these 3 questions. Number 1, who is my course intended to help? Number 2, what is the primary objective of my course? And number 3, what are the key areas that I'll be covering in my course to create that objective, to make that objective a reality? With these answers in mind, you can actually work backward to find the perfect lead magnet or lead magnets to begin building an email list of buyers for your course. Whichever course of action you choose to work on your course or lead magnet first, the key is to take action and to always keep an open mind. On the path to becoming a 6-figure course creator, you are most certainly going to encounter stumbling blocks, potholes, questions that leave you stumped. The key is to master your mindset so that these stumbling blocks and questions and potholes do not completely halt your progress. Mindset is one of those things that's kind of like a silent thief. It can steal our motivation, it can sabotage our great ideas, and it can lead to us abandoning something that we have worked so hard to create, a business that we love. I have seen the positive and the negative impacts that mindset can have throughout my 15 years as a college psychology professor, as a course creator, as a mentor, as an entrepreneur. While learning and mastering all the strategies of business, like making sure that the lead magnet aligns with your digital course, while all of these strategies are critically important, they only make up about 10% of our success as an entrepreneur. The other 90%, it comes down to the mindset work that we do, often with tailored support. Strategy is certainly key in business. And one of the strategic things that we've been talking about today is the idea of creating your course outline before creating a lead magnet. But if you are starting a new business venture, you have an email list of maybe less than 500, or you simply want that quick dopamine hit of someone new subscribing to your list, then you might want to create your lead magnet before getting into the nitty-gritty details of your course. I get it. We need an email list to make our course offer to. So what's the solution here? If you don't have time to really detail your course before creating a lead magnet, at a minimum, come up with the course objective, and then you can choose a lead magnet idea that gets your audience a quick win and sets them up for your course as the next step. This creates at least a degree of an alignment between your lead magnet and your course, which makes your list more likely to buy when you make your offer. One of the things that can happen, and I've seen happen as you're creating your lead magnet and even your course objective, is that perfectionism can start to creep in. So if you know that you are prone to perfectionism, I'd like to invite you to check out episode 192 of the podcast so that you can not just be aware of this bugaboo, but have a plan for moving forward and through that perfectionism. Until next time, happy creating.